Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here, of course, on this beautiful Friday, September 22nd, from high atop the 18th fairway at the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios with our good friend Bob Kravitz of bobkravitz.substack.com.
How are you, man?
It just flows now. It's just early on it was tough to remember. Now it's just like second nature. It just flows out. And as have the columns, just like the content that has been flowing out. As I am trying to get back to my latest one through my email, only have about 1,000. That's one thing I spent every day is like an hour going through emails, and it's starting to just drain me.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. I pretty much wrote what everybody wrote, which is Woody has no idea what this team is going to look like. He doesn't know how they're going to play. He doesn't know what they're going to look like from a personnel standpoint. He knows he's got talent, but 10 new faces, man, it's hard to rebuild like that. Yeah.
And the conversations I had with whether it was Kalel Ware or Mackenzie Mbako, a couple of those new faces, or Trey Galloway, a veteran, I asked all of them about this team gelling, because that's obviously the key component when you have all those new faces. You got to get those guys to play together and do that quickly, and to do it at the elite level. I think it was Kalel Ware that said that, man, it's weird. It just seems like we've been together longer than we have. It just naturally has come together. So for Indiana fans, I hope that is correct, because you're right. They have a ton of talent, at least their expectations. You got Mackenzie Mbako, whose goal is to not be here next year.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Indiana or Bloomington. He does not want to be playing college basketball next year. He wants to be at the NBA level, which is not necessarily a bad thing for Indiana, except for the continuity of having players. But then you're probably going to have Mr. McNeely coming in filling that spot. That's another story. But so much new talent. This has never happened. Even if you go back to the class of '89, when you had that great recruiting class of Greg Graham, Pat Graham, all those different guys, Calbert Cheney, Todd Leary, all those guys that were on that class, they were all freshmen. And that's just part of the equation here. Some of these guys are freshmen, some are transfers, but they're all new, and it's a different style of play that Woodson's trying to get them to. Can he also get this team to come together and get the style of play to where he wants and needs it to be?
Well, Woody got that extra $1 million thrown on his salary, which it should happen to all of us, quite frankly.
I agree. I would split it with you even.
I'll split it with him. Yeah. Give me 100,000.
I said me. I'll split it with you. I said.
Oh, okay. You and me. Okay. That'd be fine.
Come on, man.
We're going to find out what Woody's really about. I mean, I think they've definitely improved since the Archie Miller years. They're playing better defense. They've made the NCAAs twice, but they haven't gone very far. So let's see what Woody can do with this group. I think this is his first great challenge. I mean, no, the first great challenge was getting Trace to stay. But the second great challenge now is, how can he take this group of 10 new faces and get them playing as one?
Yeah, and this is not exactly going to be an easy season to do that. There is a stretch. The schedule is out this week. Indiana has a stretch early.
Yes.
That is what Indiana fans were accustomed to back in the day. And it was a lot more palatable because you knew what you had coming in already. They're going to be challenged early and often. They're going to start out in New York with the reigning national champion, then probably play Texas. They'll get a little break with Harvard, but you've got a couple of Big Ten games thrown in there. Then you finish up by having probably the number one ranked team in the country, Kansas, and a trip against Auburn in Atlanta. Right. So they're going to be tested early and often.
And I really, you know, you may disagree, but I think it comes down to Xavier, you know, and whether Xavier can play the way he played down the stretch run 2 years ago when I thought he was the reason why they made the NCAAs, you know, barely, but he was the reason primarily, him and Trace. And, you know, he's got to show leadership off the floor. That's something he really hasn't been able to do. He's shown, so he's made some mistakes along the way, which is, you know, not unusual for somebody in their early 20s. But, you know, if he's really good, I think IU can be a top 4 team in the Big Ten. I still think Purdue and Michigan State are, you know, kind of above and beyond. I think Illinois and Maryland are going to be pretty good. But I think IU is right there. And if they can overachieve a little bit and finish, say, 3rd or 4th, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, and fortunately on the schedule, Indiana lucked out a little bit. They will end the season with their only game against the Spartans at home. Right. As a matter of fact, Purdue only plays Michigan State once, and that is also at Mackey. So Michigan State is, you could, if they complain about the schedule, you're going to not get any argument out of me this year, because that's a tough. It's also an opportunity they don't get to get 2 big wins in the conference. So, but with being the favorite, but it also gives Indiana a chance to maybe not be, last year they were tabbed as the favorite. Probably, I don't know if that was the right thing or not, looking back, but they won't have that monkey on their back this year. And that's got to help a little bit to not have all the focus being on you.
Yeah. I mean, all the focus is on Purdue this year. You know, everything is, you know, can Purdue do what it did last year with so many, you know, key players back, including Zach Edey. And then, you know, it's going to be kind of like the Colts back in the Manning days, where you didn't really care that much about the regular season, and all you cared about was, you know, how many weeks off are they going to have before they have to play a playoff game? You know, how many bye weeks will they have? I think that's kind of the way it is with Purdue. The regular season doesn't mean quite that much. Let's see if they can pull a Virginia and come back from getting beat in the first round and do something in the NCAA tournament.
And you mentioned something about Xavier. I'll use a phrase that's it's kind of come out of IU basketball the last couple of years, but he is without question the quote unquote head of the snake. However he goes, Indiana's going to go unless somebody just leaps up and is this uber super player, and we don't know. Khalil Ware, is he going to take motivation from kind of being called out after his trip to or stay at Oregon? Mackenzie or Renew, he wants to show that, hey, this is my second year. I'm ready to step up out of the shadows. Mackenzie Mbako, like I said, doesn't want to be here next year. He wants to be in the NBA, but he has to play really well for that to happen and show that he has that kind of talent. So a lot of positive reasons for these guys to play well. But I kind of like it that we don't know. I talk about this in college football now. The parity is just starting to show more and more, and I think it's just because of the transfer portal. We're seeing these teams, and it doesn't even have to be Colorado. It could be Kansas. Look at Kansas. Kansas was a doormat in football, and now they score 100 points a game. So I'm really enjoying not knowing who's going to be good, and then just seeing it as the season progresses. These teams come together. It's been kind of fun, and I hope it continues in basketball. Well, we saw it last year, Bob, with the Final Four.
Right. No, I'm very curious to see how this shakes out. I mean, Khalil Ware, Mike Woodson made no bones about it the other day. I guess it was yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. He made no bones about it. He said, you know, Khalil's got a reputation as being averse to working hard and being a little bit lazy. And Mike has got to beat that out of him somehow, some way. And, you know, he's 7'2", he can pick and pop. You know, we're going to find out what he's all about. Mbako, people who've seen him play in high school tell me he's an absolute stone cold stud. So we'll see just how good he is. I have not seen him in high school, so I don't know. I'm very curious to see what he does on the floor.
Yeah, when I talked to him, I told him that he's one of the guys that virtually no one here has seen play for that very reason. And he's motivated. All these guys are motivated for different things. You've got Xavier. It's his last year. He's coming back from an injury. Man, there's motivation. Trey Galloway, his last year. There's motivation. Mackenzie Mbako, he wants to play in the NBA next season. He's motivated. Kalel Ware, whether it's playing in the NBA next year or proving doubters wrong at Oregon. Malik Renew, all of these guys have CJ Gunn, Caleb Banks, getting on the floor, playing, there are so many guys that have different motivations, but they're all motivated, it seems. Now, whether or not they can all put that together, that's going to be the key. But from a recruiting standpoint, Woody seems to be getting the guys that he wants in the places that he wants. Now it's, can you keep them long enough to make hay with it?
Right. The whole, get old and stay old. I don't think that
is old.
That is old. That's ancient history. Now they kind of do that at Purdue, and they've had a lot of success with it, except in the postseason. But clearly Woody wants to go after the elite athletes. I don't think it's not like the old days where you bring in a bunch of Indiana kids and they're there for 3, 4, 5, 100 years. And, you get to know these. No, if you want to be competitive, you need some of those one and dones. And the hope is that Mbako can be one of those one and dones.
Yeah. Guys like Trey Galloway will always be important.
Sure.
And you really need to have more than one of those. And Indiana, I can see their next one coming, and his name's Trent Sisley. He's another year away. Right. But he's a good player, really, really talented, in state. Is probably going to be a little slower to develop to get to the next level as far as if he were going to the NBA than say Mackenzie Mbako, right. Which you've got to have that blend. And that's, wow. You talk about a balancing act, Bob. I mean, that's just got to be as challenging as anything. I don't know if I was a college coach today, how long I could do that. The $5 million a year would probably help me get over that, but yeah. It's not an easy job with the if you're at a place that the expectations are what they are in Bloomington.
My concern when they hired Woody was at his age, and we're both the same age. I think he's 1 year older than me. Will he have the motivation and the desire to go out and recruit? And I'll tell you what, he's shown everybody, myself included, that he is more than happy and willing to get out on the road, even with bad knees, or one bad knee. He just had knee replacement. We saw him kind of, stumbling around yesterday, trying to get up those stairs to the podium, the poor guy. But he has really embraced the recruiting piece. And it's not a bunch of Indiana kids like it used to be. These are the best in the nation. And, if they can get McNeely or Fland or both, that'd be pretty impressive.
Exactly. What's up next for you? I know the Colts have another game coming up.
Yeah. I'll probably do something on Minshew tomorrow. It looks like he's going to start unless something weird happens today at practice. And I'll have the Colts game on Sunday. And, of course, the Dopey report card on Monday, which I know that the general public can't live without.